Hi. So, oh my gosh, I look so bright today. My eyes are looking. Oh, let me take a picture. My eyes are looking a bit. What is the word? Light. Not a good angle. But I'm looking nice today. I can't even use this for a LinkedIn picture because it's not appropriate to wear beanies in your LinkedIn profile. Let me just put my pan on. Use that for my LinkedIn picture. Yes, this is not anything work appropriate. So definitely not. Maybe Facebook picture? Let's try. I almost stopped the video. You see when I smile, it brings up the cheeky chalks. Cheeky chalks. Look at my new Tinder profile picture. I'm just log into the work computer. It's comfortable why I haven't understood it and I haven't even had lunch yet. I've got so much work, like I'm out of all my crevices. And I need to get done with this work like now because I have to still exercise, which I obviously haven't done. I need to exercise by past, which means I've got 15 minutes within which to finish this video, find something to exercise to on YouTube, and then and have a cup of coffee. I'm just gonna slowly ease into it though, because like I haven't exercised in I think like 2 weeks. So body tissue. I keep on saying it, and I just do like easy exercises for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks straight. My fat ass is just getting fatter and fatter, honestly. I don't know if you can tell I'm taking pictures of myself while I do this. So anyway, the reason, let me just turn to the bit of it. Oh my back is so sorry for this thing that I do. So I'm taking pictures of myself because I just look good, girl. I'm looking good. See some pimples here though. I don't know if you can see my gold stash. It's a bit black here, that's my gold stash. I forgot the point of this video. The reason that I'm making this video. I just came across something on Facebook now, like a few seconds ago. And it basically says something along the lines of, I'm sad, and then like I'm saying to you I'm sad, and then you go, okay, so what is the solution? Do you want someone to vent to? Do you want comfort? Do you want whatever? And then I respond with, I want to be sad and I want to be angry, and then I want you to comfort me. And I found that, so I'll be 33 this year, and I found that in the past few years I've been my biggest thing has always been being self-aware. So I was saying to my best friend the other day, you cannot, it's no issue. I mean, I am looking good. It is this, I was saying to my best friend the other day, being self-aware or acknowledging your faults, because that's what being self-aware is. It's knowing that this is what triggers me, this is what, and I personally believe that I'm very much self-aware. I can easily say, back in my 20s I couldn't, like I think in the past 3, 4, maybe 5 years even, I've been able to actively say, this is what's going to set me off, so I'm going to step away. I'm going to I'm going to step away, and I'm going to, for me, not for you. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm going to show you my bed, and I'm sorry. Look at the little monkey just laying there in the sun. You can barely even see it. Just fucking snoring here, man. Bloody hell, Skylar. So what was I saying? Yeah, so for me, coming of age has meant a lot of becoming self-aware and knowing what triggers me, knowing my faults and acknowledging those faults, and maybe not doing something. Well, everyone has faults, but so acknowledging those faults changing or attempting to change those faults, or attempting to become better at being faultful, you know. And I was saying to my PhD the other day, having a fault, acknowledging your fault, and then moving on is not the same as fixing the problem. Especially when it comes to being in a relationship with somebody, you know, you're working with somebody else's personality. I've been single almost a decade now, just shy of a decade, I think, actually. Let me just think. Yeah, well, I think I'm like 2 years shy of a decade, so yeah. So I've been single since, yeah, I mean, I've been single for 8 years now, so um, I don't sort of have anyone to play with in that sense. Yes, I've got Sanya, you know, but it's not the same. It's not, and unfortunately, we are very, very similar. So when she like does shit, and I'm just like, bruh, no man, no man. But then I often forget she's only 9, so she's still learning how to figure out, and you know, she's still, and I mean, self-awareness at such a young age, we can't all have it. And for me, my biggest thing is being, in order to become self-aware, you need to look inward. You need to realize that you as a person have faults. You as a person, you are not perfect. I know, when we all know we're not perfect, but knowing you're not perfect and then acknowledging your imperfections, it's two different things, you know. Like I said, knowing your fault, acknowledging your fault, and then moving on is not the same as acknowledging your faults, knowing your faults, acknowledging them, and then doing something about them. I can acknowledge that in my previous relationship, I was very manipulative. I had a bad temper. Not a bad temper, but I was temperamental, you know, and a host of other things. I haven't been in a relationship for 8 years now, and that is just because I don't see the sort of, you know, and I don't really think anyone wants to date me. I mean, can you blame them? So yeah, I'm really happy being single. Yes, I'd like to meet someone. Really tempted to go back on Tinder, but then I'm just like, nah, that's alright. Um, you know, I always believe it's in God's timing. You know, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. If not, it's not. But I am very happy being single. It's a horrible thing to say, but I'm happy that I don't have to basically report to somebody in terms of there's not a partner, there's nobody I have to wait on in terms of I wait on my child, you know. I love her. I've loved her from birth. It's different if I'm meeting somebody and I'm like, oh, you said it's gonna be at 12. It's like 12:05. We're easy, you know. Or it's 12:30. We're easy. So I don't actually know what the point. I think the whole point of this was that sometimes, and this is what I do often. This is something that I've had to learn. Um, previous jobs, or 2 jobs ago, 2 jobs ago, I was part of an exercise where basically it was listen to somebody talk for 5 minutes. Listen to them talk for 5 minutes. So before this, I actually employed this once only in my entire life with one person, and it was so awkward. So basically, the exercise of this job was listen to somebody talk for 5 minutes before you respond. So basically, listen. So this is what I try to do: listen without responding. Listen, formulate your response in your mind, but still you need to still be consciously listening to that person, even though you are formulating a response. Engage with that person. Try and look at that person for as long as those 5 minutes are. And let's be honest, it's weird, it's awkward. So that was the exercise. It went off well because it was an exercise. It was a work thing. We had to basically do it. And then from that day onwards, I'll be honest, it's not something that I do actively. I try to do it. I struggle, but the person in me just wants to go, but listen. So what I try and do actively in my life, like I said, I did this before. I was driving and my friend was talking to me, and I was quiet. I was just quiet for the duration of the car ride because she was talking and I wanted her to vent. I needed her to sort of do that for me, or do that for her at least. My bestie, I chat to her on WhatsApp all the time, so it's always constant back and forth. Voice notes, I mean, I'm talking like 8 minutes, 10 minutes, sometimes 16-minute voice notes, So yeah, that's just what we do and how we are. When we are together, it is very difficult for either one of us to get the word in because we've got a lot of opinions, and a lot to say in a very short amount of time. But basically what I was saying is, what I try and do is, when someone comes to me and says, I've got an issue or whatever, I always try and remain open in how I respond to them. And what I mean by that is, I'll go to them, okay, so before we carry on, I need to know, what do you want from me? As the listening ears in this, in this moment, what do you want from me? Whether that is just to listen and then offer an opinion afterwards, or is it just sometimes, we just want to vent it to somebody. Sometimes we want to vent and we want that person to provide us with a solution. Sometimes we just want advice. Sometimes we just want to have a moment. And that is the kind of person I am. I will always say to my best friend, let me just have my moment, please. Let me just vent, and let me just have it a moment. And sometimes that moment will last a second, a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It might last for 5 minutes and then take a break and then come back again for another 5 minutes. But that is my moment. And I'll always say it in the voice note, just I need you to let me have this. I need you to you give me your advice, you do whatever you need to do, but I need you to, for my sanity and for me to feel validated, or for my opinion or my thoughts or whatever, my feelings, for that to be, for me to feel that is validated, I need you to just let me have my moment. And sometimes letting or allowing someone to have the moment is something as simple as saying, okay, how does that make you feel? So the shopkeeper shouted at you. Shopkeeper, the fox, Shopkeeper shouted at you. So how does that make you feel? Or it's something as simple as saying, okay, so the shopkeeper shouted at you. That's not a very nice thing to do. That's not very kind, is it? And I know it sounds very condescending when I say it like that, but a lot of the times I am having these conversations with my 9-year-old daughter, at school and whatever, and her anxiety and things, especially around exams. So I am having those conversations with her, and it's basically me saying, your friend that's at school, as an example, she's got a friend at school, that it's a girl that pulls down other girls' pants. And I said to her, but that's not very, I said to her, I'm very honest, I'm like, that's not very kind though, is it? It's not very nice. I said, isn't it like a form of bullying? And then she said, yes. She's like, I did tell her. I told her not to do it. And I said, not just that. I said, just imagine you're wearing a dress and someone comes up behind you, no matter who they are, and they just flip your dress up into the air, and everyone sees your panty. Like, that's just no, man. I said, it's the same principle. It's the same. You wouldn't want someone to do that to you. So why? And I've said this to my daughter for years. If you don't want someone to do it to you, don't do it to somebody else. So she's this habit of scaring me. Like, she'll hide behind doors, and I can't. I'm a scaredy cat. As much as I love horror movies, I'm a scaredy cat. And I'll say to immediately, I just know something's happening. I'm just like, if you do it, remember what mommy said. If you don't want someone to do it to you, you don't do it to them. It's as simple as that. You treat, as unkind as this world is. I'm not trying to raise a sissy. I'm not trying to raise a pushover. I'm not. I'm raising a strong, independent, wonderfully made, intelligent lady. But that doesn't mean we don't need to treat people with kindness. That doesn't mean we don't need to. And I'm at fault. I'm a complete bitch. We're all allowed to have bad days, and obviously all allowed to have good days. But at the end of the day, my biggest thing is always treat someone with kindness. I know there's a saying that goes like, you don't know what people are going through, and I firmly believe that you don't know what someone else is going through. Your smile or your wave or your hi, sorry, excuse me, I didn't mean to bump into you, can make that person just sort of feel a bit better. It might not change their day, but it might change their outlook. It might just be like, oh, she was so nice to me. And yeah, I mean, let's be honest, we always dwell on people that are horrible to us. But yeah, anyway, I think the point of this was that sometimes we need to ask ourselves, what is it that someone else needs from me? Not what can I gain from listening to this person speak. Put the phone down. Give them 2 minutes of your life. Your phone can wait. What can you give to somebody else mentally, spiritually, and if you can financially, what can you give to somebody else that's going to make a difference, not only in your life but in their life? Knowing that you can be heard without judgment, knowing that people will listen to you without judgment is such a big factor, especially in terms of mental health. We don't, yes, we've got therapy. Okay, so my video just stopped. I don't know why. So yeah, as I was saying, yes, we've got therapy and therapists and whatever, but at the end of the day, sometimes you don't want to pay someone to listen to you. Sometimes something as simple as a coffee shop date or a walk in the park. I don't understand why everything needs to cost money. I really don't. I spend most Sundays with my bestie for an hour on a Sunday. I drive somewhere, she drives somewhere, we meet in the middle, technically, kind of like, and we just chat. We go in, it's an hour walk, 1 hour, and we just, sometimes we don't even talk, like we can start this long. Okay, some of the videos just keep, okay, so my videos just keep on cutting. I don't even know where I stopped. But I was saying that basically myself and my bestie, we meet up every Sunday, most Sundays at least, and we take an hour walk. Costs us absolutely nothing besides petrol money to get there. We meet in the middle, we have a chat, it's sort of, and it's an outside time thing. It's not in restaurant, busy, hectic, and sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you just need to go and pop in by your chummy, like you used to do when you were younger. Just go around the corner and just have that little chat and just be like, listen, can I just come and sit on your stoop? And can we just talk? If it needs to be something that needs to be around food, buy Gatsby, buy fish and chips parcel, and just sit and talk and like to have no judgment. My biggest thing is I don't cry, generally, all of the time actually, because I always say I don't have time for tears. I've got bigger shit to fry. Like I can't, I just can't be crying because I've got other stuff to handle. Like crying is the very last thing on my to-do list, and it's evident in the fact that even at my lowest points, not even my lowest point, maybe not my medium point, but even at my lowest point, my eyes can well up, but I never actually cry. And that for me is so very sad. Like, I know sometimes I just need a good cry or something else, but, yeah. So I don't really know. I ramble a lot. I'm sorry. That's probably one of the reasons I'm single. I mean, no one wants to listen to this, right? So I guess what I'm just trying to say is that sometimes, if you can just spare 5 minutes a day to hear somebody, to actually hear them, to actually go, what can I do for you? How can I help you today? How can I listen to you to this? Skylar Jones, baby, don't rub on the babe. She's rubbing her snotness on my blankets. Can you just sit for a moment? Don't eat the cheese, eh? You're gonna get sick. Oh, she's... No, but no, don't look at the cheese. Look the other way. Stop it with the tail. Skylar. Stay. Stay in the bed. It's because I'm shouting at her now. She's like all freaked out. Stop wagging your tail, bro. If you eat the cheese, you're gonna get sick, eh? Anyway, yeah. I don't know what I was saying. You see? Yeah. So if you can basically just go to someone and say, how can I help you today? What can I do for you? And even if you have to put a time limit on it, say, I've got 5 minutes. Let's go chat quickly. You know what? It is unfortunate, but it takes people about 2 to 3 minutes to start actually opening up and start talking about the real shit, because no one wants to talk about the real shit. Everyone's super judgmental. I will be ending this off soon, but I want to just say that in terms of, I've always been available. If anyone wants to talk about anything, I'm here. I have a central spot on the Sunday. Like I said, that's where I meet my bestie though, so that might be a bit awkward. But yeah, just sometimes we're all going through things. Like really we are. No one's not going through something. Just making sure she's not eating the cheese. So yeah, be kind. be open and just like listen, man. Let's see if I can show you guys the cutie pie behind me. Just ignore the towels on my bed. And there's the cheese that she's not supposed to eat in the plate. The cutie pie.